Hi, my name is Kristen with Expert Credit Sweeps, and this evening I'm going to show you how to delete negative items off of any credit file. So I am going to be sharing my screen with you, and we'll show you the credit report when I started, the credit report 30 days later, the progress report showing which items were deleted, and the dispute letters that I actually sent out for this client file. So to start this off, let's share the screen. Oh, don't want to do that. How about we share the screen? Okay. Share screen. Get rid of this. Okay. So this is the progress report for this client, and everything in red is still in progress. Everything that is yellow is deleted. Yes, I redacted partial account numbers. We have basically everything on here. That's why I chose this file. A bankruptcy, tax liens, collections, charge-offs, late payments, and what was deleted was collections, charge-offs, collections, and some late payments on the accounts that are actually still on there. So if we look at the first credit file, first credit report is actually going to be the one down here. I don't know why I had it backwards, but this credit report is as of 9/11. So as you can see, we have collections, more collections. When you are looking at a credit file, meaning a credit report, I did that again, credit report, you need to know what to look for so that you know what to dispute. I'm going to show you. So if you look at this page right here, we have Capital One, and there's a balance of $533. This is currently charged off, and then this Capital One is also currently charged off. You can see that there's, in the payment history, it shows October 2016, it went negative, and then it went all the way to charge off. So you can look at your credit report and decide which accounts you want to dispute, okay? So if I were going to choose Celtic Bank, what I would want to dispute would probably be those late payments there to get it off if disputing the entire account did not work. So if I was looking at another one, and it didn't even get rid of that. That is interesting. Erase. Okay, so if I were to look at another account to see what I wanted to dispute, on First Premier, it would be the balance. So if you're looking at the balance, there's certain things that you want to start with. You can choose the balance, the past due. You can choose specifically, this late payment in April. You can really choose anything off of it, even the limit or the fact that there's no high balance. Any one of these things can take that whole account off. Now for collections, which I'm going to show you the first letter that is always sent for collections, which you can actually get on my website at expertcreditsweeps.com/VOD, as in validation of debt. So that's the first letter that you want to send for any non-credit card, non-financing, non-bank, any of those collections. So that would be like medical, storage, utility, cell phone, basically anything like that. Just don't send it to Verizon. It's not going to work. So that would work for Ad Astra, Grant & Weber, Jefferson, some of the ones that we already passed. Do not send it for companies such as Portfolio Recovery, LVNV Funding. Those are all for credit cards. Okay, so we're still all in collections. I'm finding one. Okay, Walmart. This one shows that it was only late one time on May 2016. So you can dispute that late payment in May and get that taken off so that the entire account, which shows currently negative, is now going to show positive with zero negative payment history. So you don't want to dispute the high balance or the monthly payment or anything like that with accounts like this. That's for charge-offs. For late payments, you are only disputing the actual late payment to get it taken off, okay? So for Fingerhut, this is a charge-off. Once again, you can dispute the balance, but there is no balance on this because it is a paid charge-off. You can dispute any of these late payments down in the historical payment data: February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, so on and so forth. And same thing for this one, Geddington. This also is a paid charge-off. Excuse me. So once again, we have a ton more collections. Collections are going to be the easiest to remove. So you don't really want to focus on those. For collections, your primary dispute is going to be with the actual collection agency. With charge-offs and late payments and everything like that, even foreclosures, repos, whatever, your primary dispute is going to be with the bureaus. So if you dispute a collection and it does not come off within your first 3 rounds of disputes with the collection agency plus the bureaus, then don't go and sue them and all that kind of stuff, although you can with letter 4, at least with the way I do it, but you can continue to dispute with the bureaus, and as a last resort, you can go pay anywhere between $25 and $75 and take them to court. So with Capital One and Capital One, both of these are charged off. So you can dispute the balance, the past due on both of these. You can see that the high balance is inaccurate right here between Equifax and TransUnion. Oops. So Equifax shows 0, TransUnion shows 571. Same thing down here, 0 and 1152. So you are going to be looking for inaccuracies between all of these numbers. So balance, past due, even open date, monthly payment, high balance, and limit. And then obviously, like I said, you can look at the historical payment data because that will also show, not most of the time on these printable PDFs, but if you go to Credit Check Total or Experian or any of those and you look at the actual historical payment data for all 3 bureaus, you're going to find that, you know, Equifax says that something was paid as agreed on X date, but Experian says that it was actually late. You can use that to get the late payment off if it was just late, or if it's a charge off, you know, and you've already exhausted these remedies to get it off, then you can actually dispute the fact that Equifax says, you know, positive and Experian says negative, and whatever TransUnion says. Most of the time, TransUnion does not even have a payment chart on there. That kind of sucks. One other thing that you want to look at, and I don't believe there's an example on here. Nope, there is right here. Okay, so this Fingerhut account is a charge-off. You want to pay attention to this, okay? This Fingerhut is a charge-off. Whether it says collection or not, it is a charge-off, okay? They charged it off because it was no longer an asset after like 180 days. If you look at monthly payment, Equifax says 77. TransUnion says 0. If we were to pull up Experian, it would say 0. Why is that? Because there should be no monthly payment on a closed account. There should be no monthly payment on a charged off account unless, though there's one exception to that, unless it was charged off, now paying, then obviously there can be a monthly payment because you are actually paying on it to make the account good once again. So there should not be that $77 on there, and because it's on there, you can dispute it to get that account off. This one does not have it. Yeah, I think that might be the only one on here that actually has that, but what I'm doing is just showing you what can be used to dispute these accounts. Okay, so if we go back up to the top and look at what actually came off, so we have Ad Astra taken off of Equifax, Berlin Wheel. Once again, these are collections, as you can see right here, the account types, collection, Celtic Bank was charge off, collection, First Premier, charge off. So now when we go and look at the new credit report, and you also want to look at your scores. So when this client started with me on 9/14, his scores were 476, 449, and 511. And then when we pulled the new report, a little over 34 days later, after the disputes went out, of course, it's 499, 546, and 535. So going to that next report, so you will see that this is still here on Experian. So now you're looking for what was actually deleted. Now, if you are actually, if you have your own client files and you are part of a company, when you are giving your clients their disputes, or if you don't even give them the disputes, you tell them what was deleted and what's still in progress. However you do that, you also want to provide them with a credit report that backs up whatever you're saying was deleted, because I mean, otherwise there's really nothing for you to prove. So this credit report does show that what I said was deleted was in fact deleted. Now, here is an example of what I was talking about before, where Equifax says okay and Experian says otherwise. So even though it says it's okay, especially in credit check total, you'll see that Experian will say, was late on X and X date, whatever. If you look at Equifax, it can say for like the entire time, even if it's charged off, that everything is paid as agreed. You obviously know that that's not true, but it's good to use this for when you're trying to remove these accounts. So look right here on Geddington, Experian, and Equifax. It shows on Experian March through August. Okay, so now August is charged off, but Equifax shows that it was paid as agreed. Yet, if you look at the actual account, it says charged off account. So you can use this to get this account taken off on the second round. Although I'd probably wait until like the third round for that. But if you look at Credit Check Total, and yes, I recommend Credit Check Total because it provides everything that you need to dispute. And it's more accurate than other sites such as Privacy Guard, Experian, or even Equifax, whatever. You probably would want to start with balance and look for the things like the monthly payments. You can also dispute the open date. Now, on this account specifically, the open date is reporting the same, so 11/1/15. But if you look at Credit Check Total, the online version, if you're looking at all three bureaus, if it's on all three bureaus, obviously, you'll have one or two that are the same and one that's different. Normally it's experiencing the first of the month for whatever month it is, and then the other two bureaus will show that it's a different date. So you want to use that to get the accounts off. So I'm going to show you what I actually sent in to get these removed. So starting with the actual collection, and obviously, as you can see from the credit report, I did redact all client information from this. I'm going to show you the online free program that I use to redact this information, because I know, a lot of you don't want to pay for, like Adobe and all the other ones that are out there. Anyways, this is letter one that you can find online, okay, on my website. This is what got all of those collections removed, okay? So if you want to see the actual dispute letters, these are the dispute letters going to all three bureaus. And I want to be very, very adamant about this. You want to make it as simple as possible. So, dear TransUnion, dear Equifax, dear blah, blah, blah. This is the issue I'm having. These are the accounts. And please send me a new credit report after you do an investigation. There doesn't need to be, and I've said this in a bunch of videos, there doesn't need to be all of that pursuant to, I'm going to take you to court and, blah, blah, blah. It's unnecessary. They know the law. You don't really want to throw any laws in there until a couple rounds in where it's actually going to make a difference, because now you have proof that they're in violation. Now, this kind of goes against what I just said but it's because of what was on his credit report. So all of this stuff, as you can see, LVNV, MABT, Walmart, I was not late. There can't be a monthly payment at 35 on close and charge off account, delete immediately. All of that's very simple. But if you look at the bottom of the letter, it does have on there, 1681, blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of a case-by-case basis as to what wording should be in the client letters going to the bureaus. And another thing is that my recommendation, and this is based off of testimony given during a lawsuit by multiple persons who worked at the bureaus, you should not send your collection letters out at the same time as your bureau letters, and your bureau letters should not be sent out the same day either. So I can't really explain that one. It seems to work better, so I'm going with it. So if you send out collections on day 1, then send out Experian or whichever of the bureaus has the most amount of items, send it out on day 2. Then obviously choose one of the other 2, send out on day 3, and then day 4, and then all of your dispute letters are out. That does not change the date that you're going to pull your next round of disputes or your next credit report to, obviously see what's been deleted and what's still in progress, but it does change the probability of removing something. So once again, as you can see, oops, I chopped into that sentence right there. It's very, very, very simple. I was looking for one of my more, I don't want to say law heavy, but more aggressive disputes. But this one, basically, we're only talking about round 1 to show you how to get, these items off of any credit file and what you should be looking for. So I just gave up the search. You could say that if you are working with a company, you can ask your client, does this account really belong to you? Is it even familiar to you? Or if they say it's completely unknown, or, I'm not saying it's identity theft, but I really don't think it's mine, dispute it as, I don't believe this is mine. Just the same thing as with real time right here. This isn't mine, delete it. So I didn't want to put on there, I think it's not mine. I just, just keep it very simple. I'm not saying this is identity theft, but you know what? I don't recognize this account. Please delete it. So if that was the only account on that client file, I probably would have put in the letter, I'm not saying this is identity theft, but I really don't recognize this account. So the easier and more simple it is, the more probability of deletion. And once again, this is all for that one client file, and I'm just showing you all 3 bureau letters. You will never, and I say never, like never, but you will never see monthly payments on Experian with a charge off, although if you do, it's almost a guarantee that that account will be deleted. And I don't want to say never, although I just did twice, because I actually ran across it last week on 3 different files. But I mean, in the past 10 years before, last week, I never saw it on there. It's only on Equifax and TransUnion. So that's one of the major things that you want to be looking out for, is monthly payments on charge-offs. And a lot of people have been asking, why are they allowed to report all of those late payments after the account was charged off? It's not that the company is continuing to add on all those late payments so that you have like 7 years of late payment history. It automatically happens because they're continuing to report that account. So I didn't know that, like a bunch of years ago, and I was disputing these accounts as, you can't possibly have me as 2 years late continuously. Once the account is charged off, it's charged off. But obviously, yes, they can, and disputing that way did not remove anything. So we are at the bottom of these disputes, and as you can see, here's the First Premier and the Celtic Bank and the Capital One. You could say that if they, let's just say for Credit One, they're saying that it was sold to another lender. Who's that lender? That's information that I need. You can use that to dispute the account. If they're saying that it was sold to LVNV or Midland, you could say, I called that company and it wasn't sold to the creditor listed on this account, which is exactly what I wrote right here. Remember, dispute the balance, dispute late payments, dispute monthly payments on charge-offs, the open date. You can dispute anything on there, high balances, limits, lack of that, the high balance or the limit or the original amount. That's something that I've been seeing a lot lately, is that there's no original amounts, and that's actually required to be on there. So we are at the bottom of this, and this is actually much shorter than I wanted to make it, but it's really, really simple, guys. If you have negative items on your credit report or on your client credit reports, do not make this difficult. Everyone who calls me is making it super, super, super difficult. They're like, oh, well, to get this and this off, I want to do this, and I called that person, I faxed this over, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, you're doing way too much. You're doing way too much. I mean, as you can see from, everything that I do and all my results and everything like that, and everything I posted on the website and all my videos, I know what I'm talking about. So take what I'm talking about, put it in your brain, and then process it and use it. This is not meant to be difficult, okay? Yes, you have to be, smart and know what you're doing and know all the laws, but put it in a simplified manner and make it as easy as possible, because doing otherwise is just going to take up too much of your time, because you're spending all your time writing these disputes that don't work and that are getting you nothing. And I mean, you're going to end up like spending an hour per file per month, and nobody wants to do that. You need to know what to dispute, how to dispute. So another thing is with these collections, don't even bother disputing the balance and everything. You are going to dispute that this account is unknown, okay? So with the collections, you already have your, collection letter 1. If you need 2, 3, and 4, you can contact me, and, I will, I'll either take you on as a client, or you can purchase them from me along with the instructions. But you don't want to dispute, like at Astra, yes, you can, because that is normally not for medical or whatever. You can say, I don't owe $851, or the open date was not 9/1/14, which normally it's not. But you don't want to say account recovery, I don't owe $739, because that's not going to remove it from your credit report. They can very easily, say, yes, that person does owe 700 and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, this is what I'm using, which I just landed on this evening, PDF Zorro, okay? So you can actually, you can add a PDF in there, and you can redact information, black it out. You can, erase things. You can put like a 50-page report on there and then erase certain pages, meaning delete them from that PDF, save it to your, computer, and then obviously erase it from their server. So let me take this off sharing. Okay, so I just really want you guys to have, the right information and to dispute correctly. Maybe next week I'll go more into detail, give some PDFs for free, and show how, how they work, and, explain all that kind of stuff. But this was basically just to show you how to take a negative item by looking at your credit report, which information to dispute from it, creating your dispute letters, and then obviously what type of results that you can get from that. Now, you need to know that if you do not do this correctly, you are going to end up disputing and disputing and disputing and disputing and disputing and disputing and disputing, and it's never going to come off. You have to know what you are doing. That is what I'm here for. Okay, whether you are working on your own file, whether you have client files, whether you're part of a company, whether you need me to walk you through something, or to explain something, or to take on the entire file, that is what I'm here for. You can show me what you've already done, what you're working with, the credit report, your client's credit report. It doesn't matter. I am here to help. This is what I do. I just want you guys to really think about what your life would be like, or even what your client lives would be like, if you or they had good credit. that's the whole point behind this, because if you had better credit, you'd have a better job, your kids would be in better schools, you'd have more money, you wouldn't be as stressed out as you are. And I know that this is a very stressful time of the year. We have Christmas and Thanksgiving and traveling and family and maxed out credit cards, and you have literally no idea how many calls I get at this time of the year because people max out their cards and then now they need help. They don't realize that maxing out their cards is like the worst thing that can possibly happen. And it's going to tank their score and all that kind of stuff. And, obviously those are like the most difficult things to get rid of. I'm going on different tangents right here, but it's just all this stuff is coming out of my brain and it's coming out of my mouth and it's going to you. You should really think about and write down, what would my life be like with better credit? We don't even have to say good credit. We can say better credit. I did a little bit of research on my own client files and like the scores, like the score differences from when they signed up and currently where they're at, and where they would be at with like mortgages and how much money they would save. And we're talking about like hundreds of thousands of dollars between a couple files. Some files I have, they go up like 50 points depending on what they are, if they all had just bad stuff just to begin with. And then we have files that go up like 300 points because, they had some positive items, but the majority was all negative. And I removed all the negative and, they were left with the positive. So obviously that's going to be a huge score jump. So, there's scores all over the board, but the whole point is that it's not just about mortgages. It's not just about credit cards. It's not just about, putting money in your pocket. You have to think about what type of APRs you have on your credit cards. And not a lot of people pay it off every month, and how much money that you're putting in their pockets instead of yours. The fact that if you have better credit, you can get a really awesome job, which means that you have medical insurance, really good medical insurance, by the way, which means that you don't have all these medical bills because you're not going to the ER instead of going to your primary care doctor, or the urgent care instead of your primary care doctor. Or like I said, with the mortgages, saving, literally thousands of dollars between a couple points because you have collections on there versus nothing on there, which means that you could have a really, really awesome APR. So you have credit cards, vehicles, mortgages, obviously the good job, your kids, there's a lot of things right now with putting kids into childcare and having to worry about whether they are being abused or not fed or, touched. All this horrible stuff. You see it on the news, you read it on Facebook and everything. The more you think about it, the more you don't want to have your kids anywhere. I keep my son with me at home. That's just because I can do that, obviously. I don't need to put him into daycare, and I would not put him into daycare, by the way, because of everything that's going on. I don't trust him with anybody other than my family, but the whole point behind that is that I can afford to do so if I wanted to, because I'm doing the job that I love, the job that I'm really good at. I'm going to be doing this for as long as I possibly can. Not many people can say that about what they do for a living. And most of the time what's holding them back is their credit or, obviously that they don't have, they didn't go to college for it. They don't have the credentials or whatever, but all of this has to do with credit. When you go for a job interview now, the question isn't even about, are you a convicted felon? It's what does your credit look like? It's not even about how much money you have in the bank. It's what does your credit look like? You can go and talk to your credit union. You're like, dude, I've been banking with you for like 5 years. And, you see that I have like $60,000 in the account and blah, blah, blah. And they're gonna be like, well, yeah, I understand that, but what is your credit score? They don't even want to give you $1,000 loan because, they see that you have $60,000 in the account, but you have a 550, average credit score. All of these things you really need to think about. And that's the whole reason why I do these videos, because I want you guys to have the credit you deserve. I want you guys to have what you really, really want to have in life, because we get one shot at this. It all revolves around your credit. So what I want you to do is go and pull your credit report if you don't have it already on creditchecktotal.com. $1 for 7 days. if you don't do anything with it, you don't go with me, you don't start, fixing your own credit, make sure you cancel it, because they will charge you like $29.95, and it's very hard to get a discount with them and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, point behind this is look to see where you're at. I mean, if you haven't looked at your credit report in like a couple of months, you probably should. Don't use Credit Karma and Credit Sesame and all those kind of things, because they're not going to give you what you need to know really about your credit. They're not going to be FICO scores and anything like that. Credit Check Total does give you the FICO score A model. You want to look for, just like I showed you, all those negative items. Let's just say that you only had one. I can show you how to get it off, or I can do it for you. Let's say that you have 5 to 15. I can show you how to do it, or I can do it for you. Anything over 15, I need to do it for you, because obviously you haven't even looked at your credit report in a couple of months. You didn't even know what was there. It's time to get a professional on this. So that really brings me to the end of this. I mean, like I said, we'll be coming out with one that is more in depth and that gives you PDFs and really shows you how to do specific things like delete tax liens or specific charge-offs, or things like that, bankruptcies, whatever, student loans. But I know a lot of you need help and that you don't know what to do. So what I want you to do, like I said, is sign up for Credit Check Total, and then you can go to expertcreditsweeps.com/book online. I am going to put that at the end of this video so that you can just click on it and schedule an appointment with me. It is free. I am giving away 30 minutes of my time for you for free, okay? I mean, obviously it's because I want to help you. Otherwise, I'd be charging it, and, we could talk about shopping for all I care. But it's because I want to help you, and it's because I want you guys to succeed. And so all you got to do is click on the link. Otherwise, comments, questions, suggestions, all that kind of stuff, I am right here. You can call me, 845-481-0780. It's also going to be in the description box. Like I said, you can schedule an appointment, and otherwise, have a great evening. I hope you guys had a great